Alright, we are going to do a sequence and a series. The first topic that we're going to start, it's called number pattern. So number pattern, I will just give you example what we call number pattern. It's very simple to understand because the number pattern is any number that is in this form. For example, if I write 2, 4, 6, 8, and you can see 10, and then you continue. Maybe we have a number 102. So when you look at from 2 plus 2, we can find 4. And 4 plus 2, we can find 6. And 6 plus 2, we can find 8. So when you see the number have an order, that is called a sequence. When you see they have the common difference, so this is what you call a number pattern. Okay, so we can have another number pattern. For example, we have a 2, 4, we have a 8, and we have a 16, we have a 32, and then somewhere we have a 256. So these two are number patterns, but the first one we add 2, we add 2 from the previous number. But the second one, you can see we have a 2. When you multiply 2 by 2 is 4, you multiply by 2 is 8. You multiply by 2. So here we can see we are adding. We add 2. We multiply by 2. So the number that we multiply, we call it a common ratio. So now the first one we are adding, and the second one we multiply. So the first one will be called arithmetic sequence, that we'll be doing now, and the second one we call geometric sequence. So now let's do this example. Here we have a example of arithmetic sequence where the first number will be 2, we have a 4, we have a 8, or we have a 6, sorry. After 4 we'll have a 6, we have a 8, we have a 10, so on, and then we have a number that we put a last number. So this is our first number and this is the last number. Now if this is the first term, we call it first number, we call it the first term, it represented by A. And the second term is represented by T2, and then we have a T3, T4, and a T5. When you look at this term, we don't know, we call it what? Tn, okay? Now, that is the unknown term that we don't know. So, when you look at from each number, we add 2. We call it a common difference. For example, 4 minus 2 is 2. 6 minus 4 is 2. 8 minus 2 minus 6 is 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. Okay? So that number, it will call it common difference. It represents by D, which is a common difference. a common difference. Okay. Now, let's try to find a formula here. For example, the second term, what we did here, it's 2, which is 4. How do we get 4? We did what? 2, which is the first term, plus a common difference, which is 2. So we write second term is first term plus common difference. Then the third term will be second term plus a common difference. So if you can see from the first term, we add how many times we added 2? Twice. Okay? We added 2, first 2, from 2, we have a 4. We add another 2, we got 6. So we can also write third term, first term, and we add the 2 common difference. So from the first term to the third term, we add the 2 common difference. And then you see from the fourth term, the fourth term will be first term plus 3 common difference. So in general, if you can see that if we have a 3 here, okay, we have a 3, and we have a 2 common difference. If we have a 4, we have how many difference here? 3 common difference. So if we have a T5, we have a first term, plus 4 difference. So if we continue, we can see that for each n term, we have a first term plus n minus 1, and then we have a common difference. Meaning what? If I have a 5 here, and here will be 5 minus 1, 4. If I have a 10, and here I will have a 9. If I have 11, here I will have 11 minus 1, it's 10. So this is a formula that you will be using, very important formula. Okay. Now, in this formula that we found now, Tn, we will call it nth term. Okay, or we call it also general term. Okay, and then n, many students confuse here, get confused when it comes to this. So n is not n term, because when they say n term, which means a Tn, okay, n will represent what we call a number of terms. How many terms are in this sequence? We call it a number of a term, okay? So this is the first formula that you need to know. And this formula, we learn it at grade 11. Now, let me continue. Now, let's go back to what we call common difference. You can find that the common difference, we find it between 2 terms, okay? This is a second term, this is a first term, okay? So if I want to find the common difference between these 2 terms, I'll just say 4 minus 2, meaning that second term minus first term. And the common difference, I can also find it by doing what? 6 minus 4, which is 2. meaning that third term, which is 6, minus 4, which is a second term. So we can also have, so all this will be equal. Okay. And then here we have fourth term minus so on. So this is a very important formula. So the two formulas you can use for arithmetic sequence is this formula first, or this formula. Tn equal to first term plus n minus 1 multiplied by common difference. So this is a two major formula that you need to know about arithmetic sequence. So now, let's go to an example. Let's just use this example. Okay? The first question of this example can be, first question, example number 1.1. I can say, how many terms are in this sequence? How many terms are in this sequence? That can be the first question you can see. They can ask you, how many terms? So this is a same question. They can also ask you the same question, but they change it. Okay? Determine the number of terms of this sequence, this arithmetic sequence. Can you see? So, how many terms? Determine the number of terms. They can also say, determine they can say which term. Yeah, they can say which term. Sorry, my writing here. They can also ask you this question, which term of the sequence is the term what? Is the term 102. So all these three, it's the same question. What is the question exactly here? They just ask you to find the value of n. Okay? It's just about you to find the value of n. So how do you find it? Very simple. Use the formula Tn equal to A plus n minus 1 and the common difference. So you have to know what is your Tn. This is a Tn, okay? We don't know this term, so this is our Tn, okay? So Tn is 102. Your first term will be 2. And the common difference is also 2. Now, I'm going to pause the video, try to solve, then you come back. Thank you. Now you can continue. Now look at what I'll do here. The first thing here, I'm looking for n. N is here, okay? So I have to remove this first and then remove this. Then I will find this. So I will do what? When I transpose here, I will have a 2 minus 2. Then I have an n minus 1 and a 2 is there. When I minus this, I will have 100. And then I will divide both sides by 2. So we have a 50. Okay? And then here we have n minus 1. When you transpose, so you divide here both sides by 2. So what will be here? N equal to 51. So how many terms are in this sequence? 51. How many numbers of this sequence? How many number are determine the number of the term in this sequence? There are 51. Which term is which term of the sequence is the term 102 is T51. So T51 equal to 102. So in exam or in a test, one question they can ask you, but they will do it, or they can write it in a different way, or 3 ways, just for you to find the value of n. So try to look at it nicely and then look some example. You can also do it. Okay, let's move to question number 1. Example number 1. Example number 1, for example, they can ask you, determine the value of determine number 2, 1.2. They can say determine the value of T26 or 26 10. Okay, so here they're asking you to find the 2610. You see, what means 2610? Remember, we have a term which is T26 will be T26. Okay, so now remember the formula I gave you. T26 will be first term. Now here will be how many common difference? Will be 25 common difference. Can you see? Then you will have T26 will be first term is 2 and the common difference is what? 2. So we'll have what? This will give us 52. So T26 or the 26 terms is 52. Okay, next question. They can also ask you something like this, where they say, they give you, for example, a question. Let me find another question. All right. Where you have a first, they say this is question number 2. You have a first term, for example, minus 2. Second term will be 1. And a third term, for example, 4. Okay? Another term, okay, let me do this. So we have, for example, okay, it's fine. We have, for example, here 7, and then we have a 10. So I'm trying to get a question here. Then we have somewhere there 26. We have 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31. Okay. So for example, I will remove this question, okay? Let me do this. They can ask you a question like the t they say to you this 33 t 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay? T6 equal to 13, okay? And then they say T3 equal to 4. All right. So let me remove this now. Now, then the question is, determine the n, the first term, sorry, determine the first term and the common difference of the sequence. Can you see? Determine the common difference of the sequence. That is question number 1, 2.1. Now 2.2, they can say which term of the arithmetic sequence is 31. So how are we going to solve this? This will be very simple. Okay, there we go. 2.1. Remember, T6, it will be first term plus how many difference? 5 difference. T3 will be first term plus how many difference? 2 difference. Now, let's write this in this way. We have a first term plus 5 common difference. Now, what is T6? T6 is equal to 13. First term plus 2 common difference. T3 equal to 4. Okay, then we solve this. The first thing here, this is your first equation, this is your second equation. So try to solve it, pause the video and solve it. You have a first term, 5 common difference, minus 13. When you multiply here, we have a minus a. Minus 1 times plus 2 will be minus 2d. And minus 1 times 4 will be minus 4. So you can see a minus a will cancel. We cancel it. 5 minus 2 will be 3d. And 13 minus 4 will be 9. So when you divide by 3, divide 9 by 3, so we can see that our common difference is equal to 3. All right. So once the common difference is equal to 3, let's move to the next question. Or let's find now, let's find the first term. We find first the common difference. let's find the first term. Remember, when you look at this equation, we can take equation number 2. We have a first term plus 2 times common difference, which is 3. And then here we have what? 4. So we'll have a, here we'll have a 6. So when you transpose, we have a 4 minus 6. So our first term equal to minus 2. If you can remember, when I started the question, our first term was this. Now, let's move to the question 2.2, which says, which term of the sequence is equal to 31? Okay, so meaning that Tn equal to 31. Which term we are looking for? Tn. We are looking for n. So we don't know the n, which term, okay? Meaning that we're gonna use this formula, Tn equal to A plus n minus 1 and a common difference. So instead of a Tn we put 31. First term is minus 2. And our common difference is what? 3. This is very simple. Pause the video and try to solve the question. Let's do it now. When I transpose here, minus 2, this side will be plus. So 31 plus 2 will be 33. And then we have n minus 1. So how we remove 3 here? Because it's a multiplication, we divide both sides by 3. Equal to n minus 1. And we divide here also by 3. So we have 11, n minus 1. So when you transpose, you find that this will be plus. So this will be 12. So T 12 equal to 31. So the 12th term is equal to 31. So they ask us which term is this. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Okay. I want to show you the last example for today. Okay. For example, you have a 3, x, and a 7. Okay. So the question now is, determine the value of x of the arithmetic sequence. Now, when you come in this case, you see you cannot use a Tn equal, okay? You will be using the common difference formula, because the difference between these two and these two is the same. This is your first term, so you will have this. This is your first term, second term, and the third term. Now remember, the common difference is T2 minus T1 and the T3 minus T2. T4 minus T3. So now T2 is equal to X, T1 is equal to 3, T3 is equal to 7, and the T2 is equal to X. So when you transpose X this side, it will be 2X. When you transpose 3 this side, it will be 10. So we have a 2X equal to 10. When I divide both sides by 2, we find the X equal to 5. You can see. So we can find easily that our common difference is equal to 2. Thank you. That was our topic for today. We are done. So tomorrow we are going to continue. Our next video will be a geometric sequence. Thank you.